The ASU Sun Devils beat the Arizona Wildcats. Final score: ASU Sun Devils 81 to the Arizona Wildcats 78. The thing about it was, whenever I first started watching this game, then I noticed that ASU was playing more. The ASU players were playing more team ball, making that extra pass to each other, and getting the ball to that free person, and a free shooter, and letting them shoot the ball. And that was that. I think that was the so it was making that extra pass and getting it to the free man for ASU, more of a team playing, where it was the Arizona Wildcats were just trying to win off their athleticism and not really playing as much team ball as they should have. They did play some team ball. I can say that they did that. There were some team ball because there was some team ball because if you look at the amount of assists, ASU had 12 assists and the Arizona Wildcats had 12 assists. If you look at the amount of assists that T.J. McConnell had, he only had 4 assists. And T.J. McConnell also had 4 turnovers, which is very uncharacteristic of T.J. McConnell for the Arizona Wildcats. The ASU Sun Devils had somehow figured out how to get underneath T.J. McConnell's skin, and that's why he had 4 turnovers and only 4 assists. I think that what the Arizona Wildcats needed to be doing more in this game was to dribble, penetrate, and then kick it out to somebody. They did that a few times. There was T.J. McConnell had some nice 3-pointers, had a few 3-pointers actually, and Gabe York had a 3-pointer, and Stanley Johnson had a couple 3-pointers. He was 2 for 5 from 3-point land. But another thing about it is the Arizona Wildcats had the fan base too, and it was their home court. Although they say that this is the Arizona Wildcats North Gym, is where the ASU Coliseum is supposedly the Arizona Wildcats North Gym, because where the Arizona Wildcats are usually so dominant. But this is the second season that we've had a hard time with ASU. Last season we were ranked number 2. The Arizona Wildcats were ranked number 2, and they lost to the ASU Sun Devils at that time too. And the ASU Sun Devils weren't even ranked, I don't think, at that time. So they have our number. Herb Sendek, from the coach from the ASU Sun Devils, has his team members fired up and ready to play their in-state rival, and that's the Arizona Wildcats, and they took care of us pretty well, and they contained us, and they got a lot of our guys into foul trouble. Stanley Johnson from the Arizona Wildcats, our high point scorer, fouled out with 5. T.J. McConnell actually knocked down. I think that was the most points he's ever scored in an Arizona Wildcats outfit, because he had 25 points a night, which is a very high amount for him. So the Arizona Wildcats had 4 guys with double figures. Stanley Johnson was 16, Brandon Ashley was 13, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson with 14, T.J. McConnell with 25. It was something that I kind of wanted to see was the rebounds getting picked up by Tarczewski, the Arizona Wildcats 7-foot guy. He did a pretty good job. He had seven defensive rebounds and 2 offensive rebounds. Stanley Johnson made some nice contributions. He also, he only got 2 rebounds, so they had, so he didn't make as much of a contribution on the rebounding as he normally does. So they had got into his head also. ASU had got into his head also, and so he wasn't able to overcome his being the crowd getting into his psyche, and so he fouled out tonight. He did have a kind of an uncharacteristic night. He was 6 for 16 from the field goal percentage. If you look at the total rebounds for the Arizona Wildcats compared to the total rebounds for the ASU Sun Devils, the Arizona Wildcats had 37 rebounds, while the ASU Sun Devils had 34. Now I'm looking at the ESPN stats, so it might be a difference if you look at CBS stats or if you look at the stats from your own team or your own state. But anyway, the Arizona Wildcats had 18 offensive rebounds compared to the ASU Sun Devils, which only had 9, and that was kind of expected because the ASU Sun Devils were supposed to be playing with guards mostly, and not have that height advantage that the Arizona Wildcats have with Caleb Tarczewski at 7 foot, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson at 6'9", and Brandon Ashley at 6'9", and Stanley Johnson at 6'7". So it was just too much for the Arizona Wildcats. It was too much of a individual ball for the Arizona Wildcats, and they weren't playing as much as a team as the ASU Sun Devils were. And whenever it was coming right down to the end of the game, then that's kind of whenever you see more individual play. And the biggest part of the reason why the ASU Sun Devils were able to pull off that upset victory was because ASU Sun Devils, Bo Barnes knocked down some really key points right in there at the end, and he was actually 8 for 8 from the free throw land. Bo Barnes from the Arizona State Sun Devils, he was actually 8 for 8 from free throw land, and then he also knocked down a really key 3-pointer right there near the end of the game. And so like I said, it was just as far as the steals, they were very close. As far as the blocks, very close at 3. As far as the turnovers, the Arizona Wildcats only had 12 turnovers compared to the ASU Sun Devils that had 14 turnovers. But like I said, the turnovers came from the Arizona Wildcats point guard, T.J. McConnell, which is very uncharacteristic for him. So the ASU Sun Devils had, or the fans, or the combination of the two, had gotten underneath T.J. McConnell's skin a little bit, but he did knock down that 3-pointer right there at the end to bring us up to 78 from 75 for the Arizona Wildcats. But it was just too little, too late, and it was a tough game for the Arizona Wildcats. But hopefully they can learn that the Arizona Wildcats need to play more team ball. That's all. I think that's the major reason why the Arizona Wildcats were not able to pull out this victory, is because they weren't playing team ball. They were playing too much individual ball, and I think the individual ball that they played might have been because they were intimidated by the ASU Sun Devil fan base. They were intimidated by the ASU players. I don't know what it was. If it was a combination of those two, I don't know. But the Arizona Wildcats were playing too much individual ball, and the ASU Sun Devils were playing more as a team. And I think that's why the ASU Sun Devils were able to pull out that victory. And that might be one of the reasons why the Arizona Wildcats might have a hard time in the big dance this in the NCAA tournament coming up in a little over a month. Okie dokie. So the Arizona Wildcats lose this game to the ASU Sun Devils. The final score: Arizona Wildcats 78 to the ASU Sun Devils 81.